UK are taking as far as this the 1961 stance is concerned. I want to continue now with you, Mr. Bless. What did you make of? How did you receive this new position of the UK and the US?
The UK and the US, they are only external forces.
Okay.
The internal forces are here.
Okay.
And looking the 1961 Fumban Constitution, we fast forward 1972, the tripartite, present date. Now you understand that if anything should take place in Cameroon,
no, 1972 was plebiscite, 96 was tripartite.
Tripartite. Thank you very much for that correction. You understand that Cameroonians you have your life in your hand. And it's only Cameroonian that can change things. Okay. If you don't want it, if a Cameroonian does not want it, it will not work. Why am I saying so? Because the UK, yes, we will never deny that we will follow in our background history that are very concerned when it comes to these two English regions.
They were our colonial
masters.
That's why we say former Southern Cameroon, Britain Cameroon.
No, they have never been. Britain and France have never been our colonial masters. They have never been. The people that colonized Cameroon were the Germans. Britain and France, Cameroon was partitioned to them under a mandatory territory. They did not colonize
the League of Nations.
The League of Nations.
What is League of Nations?
I'm just trying. League of Nations is.
We will not do that debate.
You asked me a question.
No, but we will not do history. Yes, go on, please.
I just want to brief you. Maybe you've forgotten those eliminatory issues.
Okay.
The League of Nations came up so that it can put peace where peace was not. And Cameroon
is what? And because former colonies of colonial masters.
And because Cameroon was suffering under the Germans and Britain.
No, we are after Second World War, Mr. Bless.
Then now, under the mandate, Cameroon was given to Britain and France that control. You are a caretaker of this territory. There will be a moment that we will take it. That is how you see us coming with these two different languages, which is English and French. Now, I want to say that all those things made by United States, the letters and the UK, is just diplomatic. It's just diplomatic.
What's the opportunity of that letter at this time?
At this time, it is only Cameroonians that can sit on the table and talk. Because if Cameroonians if they don't want to go to the 1961 Fumba Constitutional Conference, they will not go. A white man will not come and sit there. Remember, during that conference, Philipson was present. Sir Philipson was present.
Yes.
And John Gofosha told him that this issue concerns Cameroonians. It does not concern the white man. That is why Sir Philipson walked out of the conference.
I want to take you back to the line. I want to take you back to the line of the letter that says the UK recognizes the outcome of the 1961 referendum organized by the United Nations, in which Southern Cameroon, the modern Anglophone region, voted to join La République du Cameroun. UNGA Resolution 1608 endorses the results of the plebiscite in Southern Cameroon. We respect the territory integrity of Cameroon.
Mr. Moderator, we are talking the same thing in different languages or in different form. What did the letter say? That they recognize the election, the conference, that the Southern Cameroon was joining the French Cameroon. Being a one country, right?
A federal state.
A federal state.
Yes.
Yeah. Based on political upheavals, it has become one and indivisible.
And that is where the whole problem is. After you anytime you Sangate to say something.
Okay. Let me drop now. Let me just land right now. They are taking us back, the US and the UK. They claim that we should go back. When all the tripartite, all the things were happening, where were they? I told you, for a country to be stable, it does not take one factor. And for it to become unstable, you have to push people to the wall. It is not today that the thing started. They have reviewed their record and understood or understand that they should go back to the Fumban conference table. which when the manipulation was taking place, they never said anything.
We cannot say with evidence that UK and US were part of the manipulation, changing the federal state to a unity state and later to La République has never been with the conspiracy of UK and US, except you have other information that we are missing.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about manipulation. I don't ascribe to manipulation. So if you're asking me a question of manipulation, I don't ascribe to you. I don't think there has been any manipulations. I just want to say that the history of Cameroon from 1884 to 1915, from 1916 to 1945, 1945 to 1961, 1961 to 1972.
Which Cameroon? Because if you're talking about first Cameroon, you must be 1960 there.
No, the evolution of Cameroon as we have now, I see it as political maturity. Okay. Remember that we have 1884 to 1915, 1916 to 1945, 1945
to 1960 for the Francophone and to 1961 for the Southern Cameroon.
No, I want to take 1961 when Southern Cameroon voted.
Okay.
God decided to be independent by joining their brothers.
Yes.
And from then to 1972, the fact that the British say that they recognize the elections,
the integrity of that territory as Federal Republic of Cameroon.
If we remain in 1961, that means Cameroon is non-existent. I mean, we want to ascribe that we are non-existent from 1961 to now. It means that we don't have a cherished history.
What happened that the state of that union was defied? That is a question I'm posing to you, Mr. Ngaten.
The problem, and I've always said this, people take what they want to take in communiques and hang on. The fact that they recognize the plebiscite, the elections, the fact that they recognize the election does not mean that they don't recognize what happened after. So it's very, very normal with us, with the media. Like I said, we take what we want, we capitalize on it.
You not come in our studio and start directing insult on us. We are asking you, Mr.
Sorry.
How do we explain that a territory that was made to be one has changed now and become that was meant to be a federal state? Gradually, with the self-manipulation of one party, became one up to today.
But you are calling that self-manipulation.
Of course, he has never.
That
is what the Southern.
Is that what the British said is self-manipulation?
That is what the grievances.
No, sir. You are using the British.
Take the next part. Take the next part of the question.
I use the word manipulation. Listen to that. Read that letter time and again. The letter said they should go back in the 1961, the Fumban Conference 1961. That Cameroon was a two-state federation, right? Now, to end that letter, the British said, I respect Cameroon as a state, or I respect the sovereignty of Cameroon. Who is fooling who? That's why I'm telling you that it is a manipulation. Where all these processes were going on, unfolding, where were they to say, hey, it might cause a problem one day? They were not. Or do you think they at times have ever closed their eyes on Cameroon? They never. That's why I call it manipulation. They want to bring that a white manipulation on us. It will not work this time. They should stay. They first of all said this crisis in Cameroon is an internal issues. Let them stay with their own internal issues, and let's stay with our own internal issues. As I'm telling you, Mr. Cyril, as I'm telling you, the problem in the northwest and the southwest lies in the hands of Cameroonian.
I think
the government and the other people that are fighting the government, they should sit on the table and decide. Brother, when did the rain started beating us? Brother, before you even go there, look into the mirror and tell yourself that I would say only the truth where I'm going to.
Mr. Bless, let me come in there. Mr. Bless, permit me, let me come in there to say that the last part of their message, of course, read this. We continue to urge all parties to remain engaged in ongoing Swiss-led effort to facilitate talk and remain ready to support all credible peaceful efforts. It is vital that all sides come together to work towards solutions to benefit all Cameroonians. The question of sovereignty is known in international relations. That we cannot start questioning because every state, according to the United Nations standard, is autonomous, has autonomy on its affairs. And we don't expect the UK to teach us that, or the US. That is already not in diplomacy. But now to say that as measure, because we are talking about the peace process, as measure towards the peace process, we should please consider the fact that these two entities existed through a gentleman agreement that was abused by one party. I think talking of manipulation here would be ignorant of international relations and diplomacy that warrant that the sovereignty of every state should be respected, and that is why injunction cannot be placed in Cameroon by neither the UK nor the US, except it has to do with bilateral relationship. It is important because
that's why.
Excuse me. It is important. I'm not the one capitalizing. We are sharing the content of a message, and we are asking you, political analysts and civil society, to share your views and help viewers understand the implication of it and the opportunity of this letter to come at this time. And you have the floor.
That is why my point stands. I'm analyzing it based on political issues. Now that they are coming, it's because they want to come and manipulate.
They talk of the sweet dialogue.
Yes, they want to come and manipulate.
Do they have any interest behind this?
My question stands.
The sweet mediation?
My question stands to them. Why, when all these things were unfolding, why didn't you come and say, hey,
we have bypassed that position, Mr. Ngaten.
I'm still talking.
No,
I'm still talking. I want to learn. They should come. Why are they coming? Now? Why are they coming back now? Because they have an interest.
What is the interest?
Hidden agenda is there.
What is it?
They have their hidden agenda.
What is it?
And I would like the UK and the United States to stay with their home policies. Let's stay with our own policies.
No, we cannot live in isolation. We cannot live in isolation. Mr. Ngaten, I want to ask it again to you. What is the opportunity behind this letter at this time when they are calling for the Swiss-led talk or the Swiss mediation? Is it because 2 years after the national dialogue, nothing is forthcoming? Or let's say 1 year after the major national dialogue?
You cannot say nothing is forthcoming.
Of course, nothing is coming. More and more Anglophones are detained in prison. Some life are being ravaged. Recently, we had a school attack. Can you say that something has come out of the national dialogue?
There are little efforts. The national dialogue is not a one-person thing. This peace process is not a one-person thing, and I believe that we are all pointing hands on the government. The peace process is for everybody. We are the people to engage in it. So each time because I have a feeling that all things you are pointing hands to the government, I don't want it.
No, please, I'm just moderating things here. I have no intention to pinpoint somebody.
Mr. Moderator, I'm saying that the peace process, those who are to implement the major national dialogue, it's us, not the government. It's all Cameroonians that, and you cannot say for sure that things are not. You cannot say that things are not getting better.
You have the power to implement the resolution of the major national dialogue. What are the resources at your disposal to do so? But the state has both our tax-paid money to take care of us. And we are saying, according to the letter written by the US and the UK, they are calling back the government to come back to good sentiments and consider the plight of the Anglophone, who from every indication are losing. Take for instance that they are those at the extreme position in jail and now for 4 years. Some for having just stand. Somebody like Mancho BBC who came up with the coffee revolution. I just asking that the road of Bamenda City should be cut, but he is in prison for 4 years. And we are still having extrajudiciary arrestation and detention. And it is a time to call for a genuine peace process to ensure the peace so needed by both parties. And they are proposing us the Swiss mediation. And I want to ask you, what could be the interest of the UK behind the Switzerland or the Swiss talk?
I just want to say that I don't know about their interest, and I don't consider their interest. Okay. Like he said, I just want to quote that as Africans, as Cameroonians, nobody, no international state, agency or community will solve our problems. We are to solve our problems. The UN has been in
Afghanistan,
Congo, in Syria. They are there for how many years today? We as Cameroonians have to participate in our own little way in bringing about peace.
Kazinatumi recently called for amnesty to Anglophone leaders in prison.
Everybody has been calling for that.
Do you see His Excellency President Paul Biya accepting the hands of Kazinatumi?
He has done that before. He can do it again, and I pray he does it. He has done that before. There are people who have been in prison. Professor Maurice Campton was in prison, and he benefited from that clemency. He was in prison and came out. There are many other people who have been in prison and they're out.
There are people in this country that there are ministers that were involved in the April 6 coup d'etat.
Some people think it was a
was
a mimic. Some people think it was a mimic coup d'etat. On to this message from the viewer who says, I beg on our panelists to cite Southern Cameroon history with certainty. The US or UK today is not the same in the 60s. If they interfere with the Fumban conference, will you today say that we had independence? Okay, this is coming from the viewer has not signed. So the viewer is saying that please, you should take cognizance of the fact that the US or the UK today is not the same as it was 60 years ago. If they interfered with the Fumban conference, will you today say that we had independence?
Amadou Ahidjo came with 13 experts. Some were French people coming from France. So because Njomo Cyril was manipulated, he sent Sefilison outside of that conference and changed some things. Augustine Gomjua was the second to Njomo Cyril. But he removed Augustine Gomjua and bring forth another person beside him. Now, the problem is, they said, the last one of that I said, we respect the territorial integrity of Cameroon.
Yes.
Then you are telling us to go back to the 1961 constitution. How? Who is fooling who?
The 1960, excuse me, sir. The 1961 constitution actually does not touch the territorial integrity of Cameroon. It focuses on the two it recognizes. Excuse me. But when you guys start passing beside history, we should be able to bring back the facts to say that it recognizes the two historical background of the two states, but lay more emphasis on how they can bring their strength together. Just that, take for example from 1961 to 1966. Mr. Ahidjo, former head of state of His Excellency President Ahidjo, did a lot of visits in the south, in southern Cameroon, to affect the structure that were existing there. And by 1965, the House of Chiefs started having some dilapidation. Up to 1967, that he dissolved the whole stuff, and he started changing and started weakening the power of Njomo Cyril, trying to infiltrate with Ngomjua and Muna. You have this story. And by 1972, when he brought the referendum, the whole process was down. A referendum was something that they were almost forced Cameroonians of southern Cameroon to vote 100%, and you know the facts. And it's the very year that he started changing the form of the state.
That's why I'm asking that. Where was this UK and the US?
Gentlemen,
where were they putting straight if they think they can put things straight now?
Gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's edition, and we were receiving today Mr. Ngaten Donald from the civil society. We want to thank him sincerely for making it for this edition. But equally, we were receiving for the second time, and hope not the last, Mr. Angangma Bless. He is from the University of Boya and a political analyst. The program was brought to you by Nambila. Behind the camera was Mr. Oliver Fozo. I was Chillen Media, giving you a rendezvous on Wednesday when it shall be 6:30 p.m. Before that, catch the rebroadcast of this program every morning from 7 a.m. to 9. And equally on YouTube, we are answering to YouTube. On YouTube, we are CMTV Buzz. I'll be yours again on Wednesday. Stay in the company of CMTV program. Bye-bye.